Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's a beautiful, feel good, fantastic, fabulous Friday morning, 9th day of August 2024. You're listening to the Smooth Breakfast. My name is Ayokunmi Kekirieko, and it's that time to take you into the world of the papers, looking at the headlines making the rounds across our great nation of Nigeria. This is freshly pressed for a Friday morning. Yes, yes, yes. Looking forward to having a great conversation this morning. A number of stories to look into, to touch, and of course, sink our teeth into. When I say our, I'm joined by my analyst for the morning, the persons of AB Bozimo, and of course, Joseph Obari. Very good morning to you, gentlemen. Great to have you on the show.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Ayo. Good morning, Joseph. Good morning to all of the wonderful listeners. Happy Friday.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, every listener, wherever you are. It's a wonderful day to be here again. Thanks.
Indeed, it is. AB, you're clearly in Friday mode. As you said, happy Friday. I'm just thinking about later on in the day when I can put my feet up and just relax because you know, you know what? It has been a long week. It has been a long week. So many things going on all across the nation. And talking about that, let's dive into our stories this morning. And I'm going to come to you with this one, Joseph. But before I do that, for all our listeners out there, just to remind you, the way you can be a part of the show. Of course, it is an interactive one. So you get to send your messages and share your thoughts with us. The number to send those WhatsApp messages to is 0809 440 981 0809 440 981. That is the WhatsApp number. You can also join the live stream on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, so back into the scheme of things, Joseph. So taking a look at this one coming out of the Vanguard, and it has to do with the invasion of the NLC headquarters. Now, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has condemned the invasion of NLC secretariats by security operatives, demanding a thorough investigation into the incident. Now, TUC, in a statement by its president, Festus Osifo, among others, said TUC condemns Wednesday night's invasion of the Labour House headquarters of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Abuja by security operatives. Now, I need to add this, that according to the Guardian newspaper, the DSS have denied any involvement whatsoever in this particular incident. Joseph, where are we right now?
Well, I heard the news yesterday, and of course, the denial by the DSS that of their involvement in the raid of TUC headquarters. But I think that for a law enforcement agency as the DSS is, it is insufficient for them to simply say we're not involved, because they're in a very good position to say what's going on there. And we expected that, yes, you might have denied, you may deny what's going on, but then you ought to be able to have come up with a solution as to what actually, it shouldn't be a mystery. Why did the TUC not say it to the police? Why didn't they say it was the army, the director of military intelligence, or any other agency, security agency in the country? Why did they say it was DSS? What gave the TUC the impression that the persons that came there were teams from the DSS? So DSS is an investigative agency, really, purely. I mean, they gather intelligence, they have the manpower, they've got the tools, they can say what actually happened. So it's a very shocking response to just say, we're not involved, though, we didn't do it. So who did it? Who did it? Who went to that office? What happened? So they should have come up also, their statement should have said, we will investigate, or we are investigating to know what actually happened there, but you can be rest assured that we are not involved, unless perhaps this raid was carried out by their rogue agencies, which means that they are DSS personnel, but they are doing this unofficially. They have gone there unofficially to carry out a raid. And for whatever purpose, nobody will know. So they should be able to say what actually happened. And it's sad to have a test statement that just says we are not involved. Who did it? Who did it? I can't answer the question. I can't answer the question, and nobody in the public can say, okay, this is what happened. Because it's curious that the TUC just went straight on to say it is the DSS that did that, and documents were carted away, these were carted away.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So
Mm.
I assume that the TUC headquarters has got security guards. It's got cameras on
The NLC
So
headquarters.
NLC, sorry, I keep saying TUC, but TUC was saying, okay, you were saying this is the TUC that is speaking on behalf of NLC. But even then, they ought to have the headquarters. It would be shocking to me to know that the NLC headquarters does not have cameras that can tell stories of what happened, who went there, at what time, and so on and so forth. So if the camera reveals that they are wearing DSS uniform, then of course there's valid ground for them to have made that conclusion. Besides that, security personnel on ground at that headquarters should have been able to say, okay, if you're coming here to do it, do this work, there should be some documentation. Warrant, do you have a warrant? All these are necessary legal steps before you can, unless the TUCs are alleging that invasion of NLC headquarters was done stealthily, that is, they just stole into the place, burglarized it, and then eventually carted away things, which is even much more alarming than simply that they raided the place. So the circumstances are not clear, and I'm sure that in the next few days, we may have more clarity about it, especially if DSS is able to come up with more intelligent response than simply denying involvement in the raid of the NLC headquarters.
AB, before we leave this story, I mean, just to get your thoughts really quickly here. I mean, looking at this brazen invasion of the NLC secretariat, I mean, should this be a worrying thing that the NLC, the TUC, and of course Nigerians at large should be worried about, bearing in mind that there was no, should I say, official stance here. It was just break in or get in, confiscate books from the library and move. How worried or how worrying is this?
I would definitely say it's a big worry, because today is NLC and TUC. Tomorrow it could be your office. It could be Smooth. It could be my little office. And it's about the rights of people. No one is saying that an investigation shouldn't be carried out. But like Joseph has said, there are steps and due processes that must be adhered to in order to make sure that such an incursion is legal, is done on legal grounds. So I don't know what the background was, but truly, a place like NLC headquarters should have security cameras. And hopefully the evidence from that, unless that too was taken as part of the incursion, then there should be evidence that is able to be provided to back up that allegation. Because for now, it's unproven, but it's an allegation. They should be able to back up that allegation.
Indeed. All right, quick message before we get into the next story. This is Ajay, and he says the Gestapo-like attack on the offices of the NLC is condemnable and is unexpected from this administration. This despicable act must not be allowed to continue. Thank you for that. All right, AB, let's head into the punch, where the Minister of Work, Senator Dave Umahi, has rejected Julius Berger's proposed cost of 279 billion naira for the second Niger Bridge bypass, describing it as excessively high. What do you make of this development?
Let's first of all establish some things. Julius Berger is a reputable company that has been operating in Nigeria for decades. And they have on record a number of projects they have done. And I argue that a lot of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, was executed by them. So they have a good track record. This is not in doubt. However, they may have entered an era of entitlement or expectation that just because their record is sterling to the and I say sterling in quotes, if you are given twice or thrice the amount that a regular contractor was given, it's possible that you might have sterling results. And that is at the core of this story. The current Minister of Works is a trained professional fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He's a civil engineer. Therefore, when he looks at a project, he sees things that others cannot see. In this story, they had offered a bypass to the second Niger Bridge, a 17.27 kilometer, two-lane road in asphalt. and they had changed the topping from asphalt to concrete. The Minister of Works, an engineer in his own right, had, with other professionals, especially quantity surveyors, computed that it should be around 133 billion naira. Julius Berger said no. They wanted to do it for 279 billion naira. That is over twice the computed cost. Now, let me tell you something about goodwill in contracting. Because a contractor is involved with you, you might even offer them a premium. You might even nominate them first and say, you know what, you're Julius Berger, you're doing a ton of contracts for us. We feel is 133 billion, but we can offer it to you for 150 billion because of good relations. If Julius Berger is coming up with a 279 billion, over 2 times the cost, the minister is saying, no, no, no. At this point, we will take this back to the Bureau for Public Procurement, and we shall ask more contractors. That suggests to me that initially they gave it to Julius Berger based on long-standing relationship. But with this kind of figure, they're saying, no, we're going to go back and open this bid to other contractors. I think this is actually about to give better value to the Nigerians, because as he said, these are public funds. It's not from Umahi's pocket. It's not from even Tinubu's pocket. It's from Nigeria's collective funds. And in this regard, they are trying to ensure that you get the best bang for the buck. We're not saying it may not be awarded for more than 133, but we're saying let us, at the end of the day, assess different contractors' proposals and come up with the best. If at the end of the day, Julius Berger's proposal is the best, they may take it. I'm not saying that, but I think it's one of the best processes by which to get the best value for money. So kudos to the Minister of Works. He is standing on his professional and ministerial ground to try and give good value to the Nigerian state when working with even a contractor that is widely seen as competent. That's not the issue here. Your pricing must be fair.
Right. Very, very important. And I mean, we can say that, I mean, when things are being done properly, we should acknowledge the fact that they are being done properly. Let's see how that turns out in the nearest future, because that definitely is a project that needs to be done and done properly being the key word here. We'll take a quick breather right now. When we come back in, Joseph, we're going to take a story from the Daily Post, and it has to do with a video concerning President Bola Tinubu that was circulating on social media. And it's a bit of a comical one where I'm sitting. Maybe you see it that way or not. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on the other side of Freshly Pressed right here on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere. All right, quick break.
Somebody once said it's as if when Julius Berger is making their quotation for cement, it's as if they're using swan or spring water to mix their own cement, unlike other people, because their prices sometimes sound very high. Nobody's doubting their quality. It looks good. It feels good. It has lasted. They did Fair Milan Bridge, I think, and so on. We're not questioning. That is the issue. How much more expensive than the base price do you want to give? Because you can give a premium to somebody for being excellent. I have no problem with that. You pay them from 133, pay them 150, pay them 160. But double plus, come on now.
Now what? All right, welcome back to Freshly Pressed on Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's a feel-good, fabulous, fantastic Friday morning. My name is Ayokunmi Kekere. Great to have you on the show. You can be part of the conversation by sending your thoughts in to us on WhatsApp on 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. That is the WhatsApp number. Also, join us on the live stream on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Great to have you on the ride. Okay, quick messages here. Dapo says, invading the NLC headquarters by the DSS sounds mischievous and frivolous. Well, allegedly. They've said they weren't involved. So we keep observing. EFCC also has been behaving like a toothless bulldog ever since the time of Nuhu Ribadu. The AMCON organization should also be probed and investigated for their high level of irresponsibility. Let me sneak one more in. This is from Fidelis, who says, the things that happen in this country are simple, coordinated, and organized. Do you expect to have a country that is well run after the professors did abracadabra and confirmed them during the 2023 elections? we have a very long way ahead. Thank you for that, Fidelis. All right, back into the conversation, Joseph. Let's take this story from a Daily Post that says there appears to be a Cold War between, and that's in quotes here, a Cold War between two of President Bola Tinubu's media aides over a video that appeared on his verified X page on Wednesday. Now, around 3:29 p.m., a tweet was posted from President Tinubu's page in which he urged Nigerians that as we navigate through these temporary pains, please remember that every effort is being made to ensure a stable and prosperous future for all Nigerians. Of course, that video got people talking. And then later on, Bayo Onanuga came out to say that, hey, that video is an old video. Now, this video was posted on the president's official X handle. Now, my issue here is that bearing in mind that in recent times, communication between government and the people has been a bit sketchy. And of course, coming off the back of that speech the president made on Sunday that had various mixed reactions, shouldn't communication between the government and the people be taken extra seriously now, not be having these sort of things coming? I mean, two different aides saying two different things. We can't be having this.
I think the truth simply is that presidential communication in this country has always been mismanaged, largely, most of the time. I say this from the perspective as a communicator and also as a journalist. That most of the time, appointment of people in to these offices is made on the basis that, oh, this person is a popular journalist and so on, let him come and he was hard to come in and do the work of managing the president's communication. Unfortunately, as one who has been in both roles, there is a world of difference between a communicator and a journalist. The orientations are different, and I'll explain this. A journalist is somebody who is trained to gather news, facts and information that can be news, and process it and disseminate it to the public. But a communicator is somebody who manages information for a specific goal. When you appoint a journalist to do communication work, he operates in a very strange environment, and that's what has been responsible for mismanagement of presidential communication over the years. And it's showing here. Now, when things go wrong, like you have many aides doing different things, somebody feels, okay, we see that the president has faltered in his speech, is not getting the right reception. Can we dig up an old video and make it trend where he's appealing to Nigerians? And then another aide recognizes that this is a very wrong step. In a team that is cohesive and is working together, what should happen is that the one who has recognized that error or the miscalculation in using an old material will reach out to the person who posted that and advise that the video or whatever it has been put out should be removed. And then, and the reason profiled for it. And professionally, that person is supposed to take down whatever it was that has been put out there. But when a house is divided, where individuals are more interested in projecting themselves, that's what happens when such things as this happen. Because individuals are more concentrated on projecting themselves. I want to be seen as the one who is working for the president. I want to be the one who scored a goal, who was able to salvage a sinking ship. So I do something, and then of course you get this kind of boomerang. And I initially, when I first wrote the story, I wasn't sure whether because Daily Post did not go to the extent of saying, oh, we did our fact checks and found out that that video is wrong, which is what every media organization owes us. And unfortunately, in the profession today, we see a lack of that. They should have told us that it is, we have done our fact checks and found out that video truly is an old one. Some other newspapers did. Punch actually said it's an old video. So the responsibility of establishing that is on our media. And that, in fact, they are the ones who are supposed to tell us that these people did this. They're playing old video to try to salvage the situation and give interpretation as to why that was happening.
Right.
But we see this gap in the media, and of course, that's on the one side. But the presidential communication team has got a lot of catching up to do, and in fact, their cross-purpose approach to work is always revealing itself in every administration. It's not just enough that somebody is a good writer or somebody was a smart journalist. They ought to have what it takes to manage information.
Right.
In proper communication, silence in itself is a communication. No comment. It's a communication strategy. So people who are professionals, really as communicators, should be the ones, occupying such offices, and not just people who are enthusiastic.
All right. AB, if you was from you,
very quickly, while the video may be old, and I did notice the time gap between when it was the first one was posted and when Bayo Onanuga said it was an old video, are the facts wrong? Is the president not appealing for people to understand? So as much as the correct process is highlighted by Joseph, there's still some validity. The president has been asking people to be understanding. Let's go on to the next story.
All right, we will, but let me just take a couple of messages really quickly. This is from Fidelis. Fidelis says, he who pays the piper truly dictates the tune. Kudos to the minister. Why did they not do these justifications with the special Lagos to Calabar coastal road? I don't know how special it is in quotes. Let me see here. Abbas says, the supposedly Cold War, in quotes, once again, is an imagination of the people who want to take it like that. If Bayo Onanuga hadn't come out to state that it was an old video, people would have called all of them out later if they found out it was actually an old video. One can only imagine the kind of names the government would have been called, though the teams seem not coordinated. But it's good that clarification is made. I said yesterday that was an old video, which he actually did. But our media too don't verify things before going out to comment and post them. Well, the spirit of the video, like Ibi said, still remained intact. But the important thing here is that coordination between the team. They're working towards the same goal. It's very important.
No,
they need to work
honesty.
together.
It's transparency that is demanded. That's what is being demanded, and that's why Bayo made that comment. Because just like this listener said, if they failed to own up, then they can be questioned on transparency.
At the end of the day. All right, on to the next story here, AB. Let's take this one coming out of the Daily Trust newspaper concerning the oil sector. And the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, has said that he will reveal the truth about the company's operations in the oil and gas sector at the appropriate time. When exactly is the appropriate time? Because a lot of questions have been asked about the NNPCL for a very long time.
With that statement, Mele Kyari should have been sacked on the spot. And I'll tell you why. He was called by a Senate ad hoc committee. The senators are representing the people, and the people seek information about the malaise and dysfunction in Nigeria's oil sector. There can be no more appropriate moment or juncture in the history of Nigeria where a person who purports to know ought to tell us exactly why we have 4 refineries that don't work. We have one that somebody is trying to do on a private basis and is having problems with them. And what's more, they say that they are not involved in the importation of substandard products. Fine. So who imported Vaseline as fuel a few months ago? Listen, if the head of NNPC claims to have information and is in front of the people's representatives and chooses, take note, chooses not to say it, he should lose his job on the spot. I saw another headline where he said, people shouldn't accuse people in NNPC of being rogues. I didn't notice anybody accusing people in NNPC of being angels. There has to be a connection between their current perceived behavior and roguery. And that is why people are calling them rogues. I'm not among, but others are calling them. So please, if you feel as the head of the NNPCL of Nigeria, that you have information and you are being asked by the Nigerian Senate to tell us why your organization is so bereft of competence, and you decide that you want to withhold that information, you should lose your job on the spot.
Joseph, you want to weigh in on this one?
In fact, it's shocking because there is no better way to admit failure than the statement made by Kyari on the floor of the Senate. First of all, nobody had accused them of being thieves. But first, his opening statement before that committee was that we are not thieves, so we didn't see anything. Though, when somebody who has not been accused of anything starts by denying it, you need to prove that person very, very well. No, we have not yet accused you. We just invited you to come.
You're already putting your hands in the air.
Yeah, so you just called you, Joseph, come. Something we want to find out something about what's going on in the house. No, I'm not a thief. Hey, man, I don't know how else you can express guilt. And then it caps it by saying, I have got truth to tell you about the operation of NNPC, but I will choose my jolly sweet time to tell you when I will reveal and what will happen. There is no secret about what's going on in NNPC. Come on, guys. There's no secret about what's going on in NNPC. NNPCL is a company that runs on losses. It runs refineries that don't produce oil and pays salaries to the workers and then promotes them for decades. Is there any secret in that? Is it a secret that NNPC is a monopoly in the importation of refined products and we don't know where they get it from? And sometimes they buy petrol that damages people's cars. Is it not known? What is the truth that Mele Kyari wants to tell us that we don't know about NNPCL? Whether it's NNPC before or whatever and now, it's the same word and the same thing. So what is there that we do, a Nigerian public don't know about NNPC, for goodness sake?
What? The big question. Let's take messages as we round up on the conversation this morning. This is from Deji Adedeji. He says, the yesterday human rights activists who experienced military brutalization and fought for democracy, now that they are in power, are acting in a military capacity. And then he says, Julius Berger versus Umahi is a game. At the end, you will not hear of their dealings. All parties will smile to the bank. Please, let's move on. No, we can't just move on like that too. We need to talk about it. Let me see who else is talking to us here. Tinu says, exactly, AB, I can't understand why Mele Kyari has not been sacked all this while. There has just been so much controversy with his leadership. Now, fam, he gotta go. Those are Tinu's words. Exactly. JP says, Mr. Kyari displayed utter arrogance in lack of transparency. Sad, but the president endorsed this. Cheers to you as well, JP. Deji says, from the analysis given this morning, it's obvious that there is bad governance without punitive repercussions. Deji, are you just waking up? Thank you for your message. Let's see. Let me just squeeze in one more if I can. Dami says, Nigeria's elite class don't communicate to ordinary Nigerians. They only talk to us. Communication is a two-way street. Speaking and listening must occur in communication. Our leaders have never been bothered about listening to us. And one more from Yinka. Yinka Bolu says, I really don't think this BIOS tweet is a biggie. Have you for once imagined if the post from BIOS handle came from an opposition handle? Now, considering the sort of Wahala-minded opposition we have in Nigeria, especially those on X, it's going to be trouble. Then we start battling the narrative that the president is the president medically all right, and so on and so forth. Thank you for your messaging. Thank you for all your messages, and thank you to you, AB and Joseph, for joining me on a fabulous Friday morning on Freshly Pressed. Hope you have a great weekend planned ahead of you.
It's always
exciting. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Stay safe, stay peaceful, and healthy. God bless you all.
All right, indeed, we will.
And all listeners, all the best. I wish you a wonderful weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph.
Be safe, please.
Indeed, we will be. Thank you to all our listeners for sending in messages on Freshly Pressed. Keep it tuned. At 8:15, we're going to get into the locker room. So many sports stories to get into. Tega will be in the building.